What's going on YouTube? Sean here, and welcome to a brand new series that I'm enacting right now. And this time, this was at the request of a friend of mine. I told them I would do a vlog series on the entire Death Note anime, and they would do something for me. So, whoever you are, here you go. Here's the new TV show anime review just for you. So that's 37 episodes. I'd never seen this anime before. I'd watched the crappy movie with that was done by Adam Wingard and starred Willem Dafoe, who was pitch perfect. So going into this anime, I had never actually seen, or going into the movie, I'd never actually seen the show. So I'm going into this fresh. At the time of recording this, though, I was going to do videos after each and every episode, but I watched the first episode. And then I rewatched it again because I had watched it and I was like, oh, I got a little bit busy doing other rewatches and stuff. So I'm like, okay, I'll go back and rewatch it. Watch the first episode, watch the second episode, and now I just found myself watching 6 episodes in a row. So we're going to go episode by episode and we're going to talk about the Death Note anime. And so far, fuck, man, this is really, really good. First episode is fine, nothing amazing, but once you really get into the second episode when L comes into play and you get this little... you see the tension, the battles between L and Light Yagami is really, really fascinating. These are two very intelligent characters. Light obviously is at the top of his class, very intelligent person who gets the Death Note, and you got L, who's the best investigator in the world, and they're constantly at each other's heels. It's like a back and forth game between these two, testing their intelligence, and I absolutely love that. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about the first episode, then we'll go into the second episode, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, all the way to the very end of this anime. I've seen the movie, so I have a rough idea of what the story is based on watching that really crappy movie. Outside of Willem Dafoe is pitch perfect as Ryuk. But man, this is really good stuff. So to explain the show for those who haven't seen it, the concept behind Death Note is basically there is this high school student named Light Yagami. He wants to rid the world of all sorts of evil and all sorts of other things. And some supernatural notebook known as a Death Note falls from the sky, basically lands in his lap. He finds it and he finds that he can write the names of his victims on it. And by doing so, he can kill them. If he doesn't write the cause of death after 40 seconds, they die of a heart attack. He can write in very graphic details of how they die. He almost befriends, not really befriends, I'd say, a demon, a death god, basically known as a Shinigami, known as Ryuk, who, if you watch the movie, is played by Willem Dafoe. Ryuk is hilarious. I really like this character. He goes toe-to-toe with, he goes toe-to-toe with Al, who's this criminal, or this criminal investigator. Basically, he gets this Death Note, he starts enacting his form of justice, and over the course of the series, you kind of see him just go a little bit more mad with power, and you just see this tension. You just see him gradually turn into a sociopath. Really, after the first episode, at first he's kind of dismissive of it. He's like, oh, this is nothing, this Death Note. And then he finds that, holy shit, this Death Note works. And it's owned by this death god named Ryuk, who's this thing called a Shinigami, and he explains how it works. And Light's the new owner. Since Light is the only owner of this Death Note, he's the only one who can basically interact with Ryuk. And basically, Light finds out that basically at the time he dies, thanks to using this book, he won't be able to go into heaven nor hell, and he just kind of goes into almost purgatory of sorts. So basically, Ryuk, and that lets him know these things. Light decides he's going to use this Death Note to shape the world and become a god, and shape the world in his image. So yeah, that's a brief little synopsis on the first episode of Death Note. But like I said, first episode's fine. It's an interesting premise. Obviously, as you watch the show more and more, as I've been watching it for the course of a couple episodes, I find myself really more invested in this series as I go along. Much better than that shitty movie that I had to watch a while ago. But yeah, I really like this. I like the character Ryuk. He's got a sense of humor. Their dynamic is great. Light Yagami is a very intelligent character. He's the student, but he's also a pure sociopath too. You just gradually see him become mad with power with his Death Note, killing innocent people. At first, oh, I'm just doing these to criminals, giving them heart attacks. Nobody will suspect a thing. Then he's got to play things. He's highly intelligent. He finds different ways to. He's always 10 steps ahead of L. And I really like this because, like, you don't really see a show told in the perspective of the hero and the villain at the same time trying to outwit each other. I really like this cat and mouse game between these two. It's like, oh, I'm going to get you. Oh, I'm not going to get you. It almost reminds me a bit of a movie I really love. I mean, obviously the circumstances are different, but the movie The Fugitive with Harrison Ford and Tommy Lee Jones, great series because Richard Kimball and Sam Gerard, they're on each other's tails, and you see Richard using his intelligence constantly just outwitting Tommy Lee Jones over the course of it. But like Tommy Lee Jones is like the best U.S. Marshal tracker, and eventually he's got to clear his name. Great fucking movie. You got to watch this. You have to watch The Fugitive. I know this is a Death Note video, but I'm plugging that too. But yeah, first episode, solid all around. Not really the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like it's an interesting premise. It's enough to kind of get me like interested in it, but over the course of the past couple episodes that I've been watching the show, I found myself a little bit more invested with each one as the mystery builds. But I think that's the same case with every show. Not every first episode is a 10 out of 10, unless you're Ash vs. Evil Dead. But then again, Ash vs. Evil Dead was a show that was built on a previous franchise. So it's really tough for a show to just really hook you, like sometimes with that first episode. But I think this one gives an interesting premise. You stick with it a little bit, it just gradually becomes even better and better. And now I'm, a couple episodes in, and I'm like, sweet, I'm really intrigued to see where this goes from here. I'm sure it'll be very different from that really crappy movie, but so far so good. I'm liking where we're going with this. So that's going to wrap it up for episode 1. I don't want these to drag on for too long, because these are like 20-minute episodes. This is kind of the intro, so this is episode 1, known as Rebirth. It's kind of explaining a little bit of the premise, and like over the course of the show, we learned a little bit more about the Shinigami, their realms. We learned about the Death Note. We learned a bit about Light. We learned a bit about L, so on and so forth. So, yep, that's all I'm going to say. Take care now. Bye-bye then. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you've seen Death Note, what do you think of this episode? I haven't watched the whole series as of yet, but I plan on kind of uploading these videos almost daily. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Death Note, the anime overall? Do you really like it? Do you dislike it? If you get the chance to, it's all on Netflix, the entire anime. It's like 37 episodes. It's only one season, but it's well worth checking out so far. I mean, I haven't seen how it ends at the time of recording this, but I'm very intrigued to see where this goes from here. So thank you all so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time, I guess tomorrow at the time I'm recording this, and we'll get to the next episode. So take care now. Bye-bye then. And yeah, Death Note. Good shit so far. Good shit. Let's get into episode 2 now.